Good afternoon and welcome to the Catalyst panel discussion of this AIOps Catalyst. You see the title is AI for IT and Network Operations. This is a catalyst, the phase 2 of a catalyst that we showcased in KL last November. And in that phase, we had the three biggest Chinese champions, China Mobile, China Telecom, China Unicom. And we developed 5 different use cases, focusing especially on IT operations. So now in phase 2, we have extended the scope. The team also has grown. So we have 3 new champions, as you can see in this slide. So we have a team, Telecom Italia team, joined the Catalyst. Hong Kong Telecom is the largest CSP in Hong Kong, and Telefonica Germany. And we have also 2 new participants, 2 new tech companies, Tech Mahindra and Bonk. So we're 11 team members. This is a big catalyst here, all working around how to deploy AI operations in IT and network service management. So, and one of the new, let's say, the additional scope of this phase is not only to cover more processes, so to create a kind of end-to-end service management, AI-driven service management, but also the scope is also to design and test frameworks and reusable assets to help the operations to manage AI models at scale, manage and govern AI models. This is, we believe, one of the challenges. Right. So I will now go to our speakers. All our speakers today are new joiners of this catalyst. So I will start with Massimo Banzi from Team. And I will ask Massimo, so Team is a new joiner of this catalyst. So what are the business drivers and the priorities that brought Team to join this catalyst to address this topic?
Well, enough obvious. I think nowadays we all talk about artificial intelligence, and the telco operator need to use artificial intelligence to first improve the loyalty of his customer. The customer centricity is the most important aspect that we wanted to obtain nowadays. And so how to use artificial intelligence to improve the centricity of a customer in our business. But this means also to reduce the complaint of a customer, of course. This means to be more proactive in providing services that are how to say exactly what the customer wants us to do. And we have a network. The network has plenty of potential failures, and we need to identify the failures before this happens. In the specific case of the Catalyst, we decided to implement a use case, which is the reduction of the complaints, the possibility of reduction of the complaints of a customer, because it's the first one that comes into mind. But of course, plenty of these scenarios can be implementing using artificial intelligence, let me say in an intelligent way, because nowadays, well, I think that we have many systems around, and everyone we invents a new system for managing OSS rather than BSS wanted to introduce artificial intelligence in the system, but of course, we do want to do it in a very coherent way.
Thank you, Massimo. So I will now go to Michael. Michael is from Hong Kong Telecom. That's also new joiners of this catalyst. And Michael, you implemented in this catalyst interesting use case about how to improve network performance, optimizing network to improve the customer experience. So could you tell us more about the scope of this catalyst and the scope of this use case, and how did you deploy it in your business, your processes?
Okay, thank you, Luca. You know, Hong Kong is a vivid financial city, and customers in Hong Kong are very, very demanding. And there are more than 60 million tourists coming to Hong Kong every year. as our company has already been transformed into a premium service provider. So the main reason why our company we wish to join, decided to join this Catalyst, is to deepen our customer integration, the integration with our customers, so as to enhance their customer experience through smarter business operations, and in order to offer them a unique and integrated play experience. The objective of this this use case is to be able to early detect those dissatisfied or potential dissatisfied customers and to fix those issues before they make any complaint to us. And so that's why we partner with Huawei with their Smart Care solution, so as to create a proof of concept and a Catalyst project. And we can make use of Huawei's extensive knowledge in the AI and also the customer experience management data, along with HKT, to use AI and CDM data sets combined with CRM data to deliver a process transformation to meet our business objectives and requirements.
Good. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, welcome.
So Andrea from Tech Mahindra, so is also new joiner together with Telefonica Germany. And as I mentioned at the beginning, so one of the scope of this Catalyst is not only show how to infuse AI into processes, but also to build frameworks to help the operations to manage AI. So, and Andrea at Tech Mahindra and Telefonica developed one of these frameworks. So I asked Andrea, so could you tell us more about this AI DevOps framework and what are the main outcomes that you have experimented so far?
Yes, sure. Pleasure to. So basically, I think what's important to understand that we come from the DevOps transformation path, and we already benefited a lot from the models out there that we could use to really successfully run the DevOps transformation. And we are now at a stage where we say we have also brought the mindset, the spirit, the agile community together to be able to really instill AI into our process. So that's why we are also obviously interested in cooperating and looking into what's out there and bringing that to the market. So as Massimo already said, it's really important to not reinvent the wheel, but to use what's out there. So our approach is also to make sure that anything we do, the use cases we implement, are then shared and also brought back for others to apply them. So in terms of what we concretely have done, you will see sort of the last use case is the one that we also implemented, and it looks into the operational issues, so the incidents that are out there. It also could connect the monitoring data. It has integrated dashboard capabilities, and you can then correlate the data with the root causes that are out there. You can immediately bring the knowledge back to the staff to say what kind of root causes do really cause the unsatisfactory situations. You can also then predict what's going to happen, and you can eventually then move to a stage where you can automate the complete process. So if you hear about sort of zero touch, that is the ultimate goal, but already the journey now to put together the frameworks and to learn from it and then feed it back to the relevant communities we see as incredibly beneficial.
Yeah, great. So, and by the way, to talk about use cases and the processes that we have covered, this also picture give a good overview about all the service management processes that are covered in this Catalyst, are the red ones. And you can see that we have covered almost 50% of the processes. So we are very close to really create an AI-driven service management. I think we think that this is really feasible. It's really close. And all these use cases are implemented across different companies, of course. But imagine that you implement all these just in one operations. So you will have almost 50% of your processes AI-driven. So this is, I think, it's huge. It's really huge. But there are challenges behind that. So they're challenging about deploying AI models into complex production environments. So I asked Massimo, from your perspective, what are the main challenges that we face as in the industry to have a full deployment of AI in production?
Well, you already said somehow plenty of data sources coming from several layers in the business of telco, coming from operation, from the network, from the customer, and all this data, well, are different in format. We do not have a standardized format for managing data, and this data has to be collected, put together, used to train repository, used to collect it in repository, and then used to train the algorithm. And well, this is the first maybe issues, plenty of data to make. And another issue is that this data, what do we want artificial intelligence to be used for? For prediction. But so if we want to predict, we have to be quick, tempestive. We have collected data, and then we need to produce some result as soon as possible. And the idea of collecting data automatically and use them to train the algorithm and then use for prediction is something that, well, it's not an easy issue to address. Another aspect maybe is, I was already talking before, we have nowadays plenty of systems, and since we have this buzzword, this keyword, artificial intelligence, everyone wanted to have the system with his own intelligence. And this can be a good issue, of course, but there is another problem, that we need to integrate this system altogether. And if we wanted to do real intelligence, we have to approach the problem in a more integrated way. As for instance, the TM4 with the ODA is addressing the issue somehow, because we have a sort of vertical stream where all data coming from the various sources are collected. And they are managed, because information that are coming from the network can be integrated with something that is coming from the customer to produce a better intelligence for the final service that we want to provide to our customer. So doing this is not easy. It's anyway complex, add complexity to the issues, and so this is another issue. What else? I don't have any further idea, but you know, artificial intelligence operates also with several approaches, several algorithms, choose the best one, adapt the best one to the specific problem that we wanted to address. Is another issue, is a theoretical task that, of course, can be studied, that can be addressed and can be solved, but anyway, is something that has to be done with the right person. And then also the problem of people, no? We have not people trained for doing this. The skill of the people is another issue that we are not organized, but the problem is that of big data analytics, and then using the big data for implementing artificial intelligence is something that requires skill that we are, well, training ourselves to have, but not have natively, because it's something new and something that has to be addressed as soon as possible if we want to be competitive in this world.
Yeah, definitely. And there are new skills, new profiles that we need to onboard, right? Like data engineers, like data scientists. All these are new skills that today are really rare, right? Rare to find. So yeah, good point, Michael. So we have talked about the business drivers. We talked about how implementing capabilities. We talked about frameworks, the challenges behind. What about the benefits of all this? Because there is a huge amount of work behind to create frameworks, to deploy models, to create skills. But what are the benefits of all that, and what is your experience in HKT about measurable benefits?
And of course, devolving quite a lot of resources.
We don't hear you. Try again.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
it's-
Of course, devolving quite a lot of manpower resources and other resources to this project. Management did have some expectations and before participating in this project. But of course, as we have only participated in the phase 2 and the project is still ongoing, and in our case it's still ongoing. We may need some more time to realize the full benefits. But I think in our initial business assessment of the project will indicate us to have some savings we anticipate, such as to improve the Net Promoter Score, especially for our premium customers, by about 5 to 10 points, and that's also to improve our corporate image, and also to reduce the operating costs. That's to, for example, such as to reduce the cost to our call centers by about 10%, and also the average handling time by 10 to 15%. And also we expect it can improve mobile service EBITDA by about 3%, as well as to facilitate a productivity gain of about 5%. That would be our initial expectation. And our way forward, of course, is to complete a fully integrated run of this the model, so as to realize all these the benefits. And also, we may, from the process, from the algorithm training, then we may improve the offline training process to be more proactive through those network problem training process. And also, most importantly to the management, is to provide a viable business case that would that can show some tangible ROI results. And for the contribution to TM Forum, I think our approach and also the mechanism and also the way that we use the AI algorithm in improving our customer experience, that will also contribute to the AI maturity model, and also to quite a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so huge potential about AI in terms of return of investment. This is what we see. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So Andrea, contribution to TM Forum. So we are in a TM Forum framework. So what are the main contributions of this catalyst, and there are many, I know, to the TM Forum assets?
Yeah, basically, I think the obvious one is the AI-driven service management model that you also see there. What it gives to you is to look at the domains and the processes from a service management perspective, and really check that against your use cases. So it gives you an indication where to start. You will also see which use cases have already been developed in the respective area, and you are able to reuse those and adopt those to your special considerations. Then the other point that was already mentioned, the AI maturity model. So that is shared across 11 companies, and we contribute to that. And this is a check for any kind of company who wants to engage in that journey. So it's a complete view on what is your maturity related to processes, what's your organization readiness, the skills and talents that we heard that you need in order to do the next steps, and obviously also technology considerations that you might have. And it gives you a clear indication, so where might you have shortfalls, and what do you need to do to really then drive your AI journey. Then, as also mentioned, as Tech Mahindra, we cooperated to launch a platform which is called Acumus, and the Tech Mahindra asset is Gaia. So there are concrete AI machine learning models that are hosted on that marketplace. So these kind of models have been tested, they have been validated, they are also assets that can be redeployed in any kind of environment, and that use things like Open API framework, so that really for any use case that you have out there, they can be redeployed. Any kind of learnings, again, we use, we make sure that the experience out of that is fed back into this process, so that any sort of new version that you see out there has been tested and validated. Same for the maturity framework, so all the catalysts that you will see will participate in validating the model and developing that further, so that it's really available for the complete community.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. Maybe we have time just for one question. So time is almost over, but if you have a question, one question maybe we can address, if you have. Otherwise, you can visit our booth. We are at the second level, and we can continue the discussion, share thoughts about this and about next steps. I think it's an exciting topic, very, very actual, so we will be happy to share thoughts with you. Thank you to our speakers and colleagues. Thank you all for attending.